Welcome back into the Sports Source. This segment brought to you by A.G. Hines Company. If you're in need of building supplies or the tools to get your project done right, A.G. Hines Company is the place to turn first. The big chain stores are handcuffed by supply chain issues, but A.G. Hines Company isn't sharing material with some sister store in Topeka. They keep it all here. They're not having to horse trade with other sister companies to, well, I've got this, if you've got that, I'll send you one of these. They've got their suppliers. They keep it all here local. They've got what you need right here, right now. Visit aghines.com to learn more. You see the number there. You can visit them in downtown Knoxville, right on Hines Street, appropriately enough. A.G. Hines Company. All right, let's welcome in the rest of today's panel. We have Bob Hodge, longtime sports writer, bookended by Chuck Cavaleris, longtime sports writer, and in the middle, in his Minnesota Vikings LSU Alcorn State look, Sterling Hinton, VFL.
Oh, Q-Side 5, Root.
That's good. That's good. Okay, there you go.
Yeah. He just wanted to be a sports writer.
He wanted to be a longtime sports writer. And unfortunately, Daniel Hood couldn't be here today. So if you're wondering that, Daniel couldn't be with us. Quick segment with quick takes, I hope. I want to talk best and worst from the Vols season. Let's get the worsts out of the way, and then we'll focus on the bests. You can pick play, game, player, moment, whatever you want to do. Low water mark for the season, Bob Hodge.
Oh, wow. In a season that didn't have that many, I am going to go with the dropped fourth down pass at Florida, because you had a chance to hang with them. You were right there. Who knows what happens? He may score on that play, but at least you get the first down. You keep the drive going. So to me, there were other bad plays, but dropping that pass, missing that opportunity, I'll go with that one.
In hindsight, you also wonder, if you keep the pressure on Florida, at some point, do
they do what they did later on in the whole season?
That's
exactly.
Right. That's right. Okay, so fourth down drop at Florida. Sterling, what was the low water mark?
Low water mark to me, and I was in the middle of it all, is when we had that unfortunate situation at the end of the Ole Miss game.
Yeah.
That was a low water mark in Tennessee history, I believe. But I think our fans learned from it. I don't think that would ever happen again in Neyland. But that was a low mark for me, and it was unfortunate.
That's what I was going. It was an unforced error that it really had there was no payoff for it. But the problem is, it gave people got mad that people around the country were saying things about you.
Yeah.
Don't give them something to say.
Right.
That's the thing. If you don't do something dumb, they're not going to criticize you.
I was coming back to that later.
Yeah, there was no reward for that one.
It was a low point, but I'm certain our fans learned from it. A little frustration at the moment, and we got it out.
Well, it also ruined what was a great night. I mean, you had tremendous fan support leading up to that. The fans were great that night.
I still think they were supporting the team, just had a reaction.
Not in a way that helped the team.
Right. Exactly.
Chuck, low water mark for the season.
Well, I mean, that's both of what I had. I also have, like, the way the fourth quarter went at Alabama. I mean, the fourth quarter starts, it's 31-24. You're right there with them, and what did they score like? They just blew Tennessee out. And it left a taste from where you're standing toe-to-toe with one of the top teams in the country, maybe number 2, to where the bottom just falls out, and the score just looks like you got waxed. But those were my top 2 right there.
I got one more.
No, I've got mine. I got Pitt. Just in general, the Pitt game.
Yeah.
Because that was one where you were not favored in that game. You were the underdog. That was a 50-50 game going in. As Jimmy pointed out, it's a team with a 10-win record. They're going to the ACC championship game. That's a good team. But, man, you had so many chances.
Yeah.
If you start Hendon Hooker, if you don't turn the ball over, if you don't have penalties. Oh, my goodness, the penalties on that day, 134 yards, I believe, brought back a touchdown on what could have been a high water mark, the kick return that you never see.
Wow.
Right. I'll just go the overall Pitt game was your low water mark, because it was a lot of mistakes and a lot of errors that they pretty much cleaned up later in the season.
Agreed.
Okay, what was your other one very quickly?
Joe Milton running out of bounds against Ole Miss as time ran out. I hate it for the kid. Just a brain lock, but I mean, throw it up in the end zone. Maybe you make a play, maybe you don't.
Okay.
But running out of bounds gives you no chance.
All right, high water marks. What were the best moments, games, plays, What were the best for this, or performances for this team this year?
Well, I think you have to. You got to start with how they played at Missouri. And you go into that game during week, I didn't even know for sure if Hendon Hooker was going to play because of the way he got hurt at Florida. And then you have a historic good offensive game. Yeah. And, 5 rushing touchdowns, all those yards. And talk about a blowout and saying, boy, this offense, when it's clicking, it does look good.
And you were the underdog.
Yeah.
Sterling.
Mine was the kickoff return last week. Woo, that boy was smoking, man. I saw them field level. He was up and up and up and up and down. I like it, man. He was getting somewhere. He may have watched the Willie Gault highlight film prior to last week's game.
Velus Jones he had good return stats last year, but I thought he had a more eye-catching season this year with his return game.
Absolutely.
Bob, Highwater Mark.
Kentucky. You went up there in a place that before one historically hard to play. I'd watch the games against Florida and LSU, and the announcers just kept talking about how hard it is to play here now. It was so noisy. It was so loud.
Yeah.
And that was one. It was a great game. It showcased your offense. It also showcased your stick-to-itiveness.
Majors would like that.
There you go.
Resilient.
And so I think the high water mark was Kentucky, and they were ranked.
You beat a ranked team. You also kept them from having a 10-win season.
Yeah.
They're 9-3. You've kept them from having a double-digit win season. Yeah. My high water mark, I'm going to go with a performance, but it'll be a 6-game performance. I mentioned this last week. Cedric Tillman did it again yesterday, added 2 more touchdowns. If you prorate his last 6 games over a 12-game schedule for next year, he would have an opportunity to beat the all-time catch record, the all-time touchdown record, the all-time receiving yards record at Tennessee. All 3 of those are held by different receivers. This last 6 games are historically good, what he did. If he comes back, stays healthy, puts up those numbers again, he could be on pace for the single greatest season in Tennessee receiver history. Think about the people on that list. Think about Carl Pickens and Alvin Harper, who you played with.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Wow. So I'll give Cedric Tillman over the last 6 games. Tremendous.
And just to show real quick about this staff, his first 3 seasons, 8 catches.
Yeah.
This season, 9 touchdown catches.
Ooh. That's wildly impressive. When we come back, let's talk about the rosters, comings and goings. What's the future of Hendon Hooker? What's the future on a lot of these guys? We'll discuss it next. Coming back on the Sports Source.